It's tea time. Cheers. I am Patricia Moore and I come on here to spill my tea. What is my tea? It is not gossip. It is the good news. It is my journey. It is my testimony as I walk with Christ, as I grow and as I learn. And I share my testimony in hopes that it will inspire you to go build your own relationship with Christ. Not the things that you've learned in the world, maybe not from the church, but for you to seek out God for yourself. If your relationship is weak, to strengthen your relationship. All right, what are we talking about this week? Finish the season. So this weekend, let me tell y'all about it. I took some notes. And I am going to read my notes as if like this is my personal journal that I'm sharing with you, y'all. This is my, like if I was writing in my journal, this is what I have for you. So my undergraduate school, which I graduated in 2001, Southern University of Illinois at Edwardsville, SIUE, had their Black Alumni Association reunion. And so I got the opportunity to go and experience everything that they had to offer. And oh my God. So my girls came together. They planned this trip. It was like a girls getaway trip, going back after 20 something years, going back on campus, seeing how much is developed, how much is improved. And when I tell you the Alumni Association put on a phenomenal weekend, I mean, it was back to back to back every day from Friday to Sunday. It was something to do all day long. All right. Leading up to the week, my girls kept saying, you better rest, you better rest, you better rest. Cause you know, when you come, we out here, we out here, right? I wish I could have. It's always like when you plan something the week before, that's when everything happens. That's when everybody needs you. I didn't get like not 1 week of sleep. I packed at the last minute, woke up real early and had to catch a flight. And as soon as I got there, we hit the ground running. Do you hear me? But it was so amazing because when I went back on campus, like I said, I got to see how much is grown, was new, things that weren't there, that wasn't on campus when I went there. I mean, just to see people that I haven't seen, like it brought back a sense of nostalgia. It almost made me emotional because I was like, man, this is where my roots, started. This is where I was running from class to class, hanging with people, studying with people. This is a university center where I skipped classes so I could play spades. Like, it's just so many things that was going through my mind just being in that moment. Another thing is when people saw me, they were so excited because we see each other online. And so to actually see each other face to face, we embraced each other. And again, that was another emotional moment for me, just bringing back memories. But funny thing, they would say, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. Like Patricia Moore is here. Oh my God, girl, do you remember? And we walking down memory, like, remember we used to do this? Remember we used to do that? And then they're like, but how are you? Like, really, how are you? Because again, people watch your life on social media and people that care for you and they're so far away, they often wonder, like, I see you smiling, but really, how are you mentally, physically, And so I took away 2 points from this weekend when I sat back. The first is find rest in God. Because when the moment comes to step out, when you will finally accept that it's time, like you're no longer hidden, you're no longer in a season where you stay away, where you're covered, where you yourself kind of stay away from everything. When you accept it's time to come out, He will show you who you are. There will be a lot planned too for you. So that's why you need to rest. And I'm not talking about just resting as in sleep. I mean resting in God, because there's a lot of times that we let anxiety, fear, worry, the day-to-day life overwhelm us and make us tired. And then when it's time to step out and show up, we're tired, right? Because we haven't properly rested. And so I encourage you to find rest in God. Because when it's time to show up, He got something planned for you. All the stuff you're like, Lord, bless me indeed. He will. And it's going to go nonstop. So you better be ready. The other thing that I realized is that there was a season of my life where I wasn't true to myself, right? It's almost as if I buried a part of me, like I died to a part of me. And I was just going with the flow to appease my circumstances. To go from that outgoing person who was on campus, going from class to class, hanging with people, being in a sorority, volunteering, going to the campus parties, always involved in something, to being a person who barely had energy to show up for anything outside of raising a family and taking care of my household. I was consistently putting others' needs above mine to make sure that they are happy. Like, I genuinely want people to find joy, not happiness, because we know happiness is for a moment. Something can make you happy, but once that something stops, you're looking all around for the happiness again. I genuinely want people to find joy and peace and love. So I'll go above and beyond to make sure everybody is straight, sometimes at the expense of myself. And so I was consistently doing that, dumbing down my own needs and seeking validation from my family and those around me that I allowed into my inner circle to make sure they were good. And I was wondering, always asking, doing more because I wanted to make sure it was enough. Hey, is this enough for you? You good? You straight? Is there anything else that I could do? I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I thought that's the sacrifice that I was supposed to make, especially as being a wife or being a mom. And then as I went along in this journey, I read the story of Martha and Mary, and I learned that God said, your doing is not what I need from you. What I need is for you to sit at my feet, that rest I just talked about. Like, I have enough for you to do. I need you to rest. I need you to recognize and sit with me so I can show you, so I can bring you back to remembrance what I put in you. Like, I created you as a particular person, and you allowed that person to go dormant. But I got to bring that person back to you. But I need for you to sit down and rest and stop doing, and worrying about if you're pleasing others. Because what should matter is if you're pleasing me, says God. That's the only person. Because at the end of the day, you can never please people enough. They'll never be satisfied. You'll overwork yourself. You'll do so much and they still won't be satisfied, right? They'll still say, well, this didn't happen. I didn't have joy. I didn't have peace. I didn't have happiness. You know, she wasn't able to provide me this. And you're looking like, and he's like, that's because you made it all about them and you didn't make it about me, right? So what God does is he allows us to get a glimpse of who we are by going back to our past. You come in contact with people who remind you, like, remember, girl, remember we used to, and girl, remember you used to. He reminds us of the great work that he started in us. Like, he started a great work. He's like, I'm going to finish that great work because I know who I created you to become. As I said, God's word says, I will finish a great work in you. He doesn't leave you even when you abandon yourself. When you abandon who you were created to be, God doesn't forget and he doesn't leave you. He gently nudges you and allows you to show up in circumstances that gives you what I call a God wink, to show you this is who you are. This is who I want you to be. When you decide to let go and make a decision to be free of pleasing others, God shows up. He's right in the midst. And that's why it was so emotional for me, because I was so grateful and I was so thankful that people were just so excited to see each other, to see me, and to remind me, like, girl, I'm proud of you. I see you. I remember what you used to do. Keep going. And I said that it happens to the best of us. This is in my notes. Life happens and you find yourself caught up, operating day to day in the task, like you're on autopilot, fulfilling the responsibilities, taking care of everyone. Your intentions may be pure, no doubt. Your heart is in the right place, but it's not true to who you are because you lost the face of God in the midst of it all. Somehow the relationship between you and God became weak. I thank God that it's in those moments he began to guide me and order my steps back to the path that I needed to be on. I mentioned in a post that my sermon preached about pruning, and it illuminated a thought inside of me. God pruned me and he's still pruning me. He's removing ideas and ways that I adopted along my journey. He's removing people who don't understand the plan for my life. And I have to tell you, that part hurts. It hurts really bad. I have to mourn and grieve the people that God is removing, because what I learned is that when you build relationships with people, There's a part of you that connects to them. And so when they leave, there's a part of you that leaves. But that's the part of you that has to die. And that hurts. And I had to tell God, ouch, ouch. This hurts. Pruning doesn't feel good. It hurts. But you know what the best thing is? God has better. He has something so great for you when you allow him to place you back where you need to be. When you surrender and you say, God, all these things that you are pruning off of me, just so I can grow more, like my pastor said. When you prune a rose bush, it grows more beautiful and fuller. And so when you decide and you remember, okay, I need to rest in God, but then I need to allow him to lead me because I got to get ready for what he has up ahead. He shows up and he sends you those God winks. And that's what happened to me this weekend. I got a lot of God winks and I got re-energized. And I was reminded of the great work that God started in me. He sent a word through some people. He sent a prayer through people. He even sent a warm hug like, girl, I missed you. And I bet you guys said the same thing. I've missed you. It's been a while, but you're back. And I'm happy to see you. I want to leave you with this word. It says, the Lord says, I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and watch over you. That's Psalms 32:8. I leave with you. Don't forget to rest in God. Don't forget to allow God to finish a great work in you. It is admirable to want to go above and beyond, but don't forget to go above and beyond for the person that matters. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Allow God to finish the work that he needs to do in your season. Cheers.